Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.
Hello and welcome to No Office Podcast, which is a show about work, technology, and life from a remote company perspective. My name is Rafal and as always, I'm joined by CEO of our No Office company, Nozbe, Michael Sliwinski. Hello, Michael. How do you feel after running this No Office company for 15 years now?
Well, yeah, I feel great that first of all, I feel great that we are there 15 years. It's like when you think about it, most companies fail very quickly. So the fact that we are online and then we are live and then we are really running this company, like we've been doing this for 15 years. We've had 700,000 users worldwide sign up for our software. It's a big thing, and the thing is that it's big, but on the other hand, it's still small. Like when you compare it to other companies that go so fast, you always have these thoughts that maybe I'm doing this too slow, or maybe I'm doing this too fast, or maybe I'm doing something wrong. And for me, I think the main theme is just to keep trying, keep doing, and then keep going at your own pace, and try not to. I mean, it's good to have inspirations and see other people how they are running their companies, but remember, this is your company, so run it at your own pace, because I grow as the company grows. Like, my growth is company's growth very often, and sometimes I'm very hard on myself, thinking, I should have done better, I should have done more. But sometimes I'm like, that's fine, I like it that way. So it's a roller coaster, to say the least. Like, with all the everything that we've experienced, all the changes, the technology, how it has changed. Like, Nozbe launched when iPhone launched the same year, and as you know, iPhone was the Jesus phone. Like, it was the phone that changed everything. So it was the phone that changed the way people perceive phones. So we had to adapt from my idea of a desktop GTD software to a multi-platform productivity software suite. And it was all a big change and a big metamorphosis. And, we had to deal with the technology changing and all that stuff. And yeah, and last but not least, as you know, or might know, I have 3 daughters. All of them are younger than Nozbe. So recently, my eldest daughter, she just turned 13. She was complaining that Nozbe is older than her. so, so I launched Nozbe before I had my children, and then throughout that time, I've had 3 children. So, it's it's a roller coaster, like, to say the least. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that without Nozbe, it would be hard for you to having 3 children, to raise 3 children.
Get everything organized. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And on top of that, we are the pioneers. Like, I launched Nozbe from my home, and even when I hired people, I never set up an office. Like, we are a truly no office company, hence the name of this podcast. And we've never even thought about having an office. Like, my first hire, Tomasz, who's our main business guy now, my business analytical technical guy in the company, my analytical part. Tomasz, I hired him when he was living 300 kilometers away from me, but he was the best. So that's why I thought, I wanted the best that I can afford. And he was the best, and he's still the best, and he's still here. So, like, it's like, we set it out like this, and we keep running company like this. So now, after the pandemic, people are finally embracing no office lifestyle. But we were the first, one of the first companies like this, and we, like, even before the pandemic, people were looking at us like we are strangers, like having a fully remote company.
Yeah, but it was already the technology was already there to run it like this, and now only after 15 years people are discovering it, that it's actually possible. It's actually feasible. It's actually better.
Yeah, it's and uh, right now I think the key word for this year when we start living our lives again at the end of this pandemic, I think the key word will be hybrid, because many companies will still keep their offices, but be will start to set up their companies as remote first, so that that people who are remote, who are not in the office, can still work productively. And I can see that shift, and I'm happy that this shift is happening. And it's great. Like, and um, uh, yeah, I like having talked to so many entrepreneurs over these last 2 years. I can see that it takes them time to embrace this kind of lifestyle, but it's good that finally they do.
Yeah, I think like we are finally there. That like the snowball is so big now that it cannot be stopped.
Yes, definitely. And you know, just the other day, I had a conversation. We turned 15, so we'll talk about our announcement, because it's a different thing. But before I because we turned 15, I decided, and this is what I'm going to do now, February and March. I'm going to reach out again to people who were important to me over the course of the last 15 years. So who are important to our Nozbe journey, who were, at some point, I don't know, helped me out, or were supportive, or whatever. Like, they were part of this journey. So over the next 2-3 months, I'm going to reach out to them and schedule phone calls to just connect with them, reconnect with them. And I did it recently, like with a friend. I haven't talked to her for for the last 3-4 years. So we connected. We talked yesterday on Zoom. And the cool thing with such friends is that even though you haven't talked to them like in years, like you instantly connect. So you just start talking, and it just like we've never parted. So that's great. But second thing, I was like, she wanted to ask me for some advice, like how we manage some things, like, for example, how we manage our external contractors, to make sure that they are really they stay on top of things, and that they are really delivering the job. And I told her recently that we hired a new graphic designer contractor, and we hired also a contractor for our analytical marketing part. So we hired several contractors, and we have contractors, the translators. So we have all that. And Rafal, I'm sorry, but in the end, what happened was that it turned into a Nozbe sales call.
Oh.
Because I was like, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry, my friend, but what can I tell you? We are using Nozbe to make sure that it works. And I told her the thing that, for example, we hired a graphic designer. So the first thing we did, we created a new, in the new Nozbe, we created the project for them, for him. We created a joint project. So we invited him to this project. And when we did, he signed up, he started using it, and we asked him to download a mobile app to make sure that he can receive all the notifications on his mobile phone. And then we started working together, and we didn't have to email anymore. We didn't have to even set up a Slack channel for him. Like, none of that. Like, everything happens in Nozbe. So when I said that, and then I said we did the exactly same thing with the other guy, and then this is what we do with our translators and stuff. And she was like, then maybe we should try Nozbe first, and maybe we shouldn't email these contractors. And I'm like, what can I tell you, man? So it was like kind of, I was there, like, reconnecting with a friend, just trying to talk about stuff. But in the end, I was selling Nozbe without even trying to sell Nozbe. So it was because and that's what I like about our company, is that with our no office values, and with our Nozbe app, we are like, this is for real. Like, we are running, we are building Nozbe. No, we are how do we say it? We use Nozbe to build Nozbe. So
Yes.
so we use Nozbe to build Nozbe. We use the app as much as as any other guy. And then we also live no office, really. Like, we don't just say that remote work can be nice. Like this is how we work. We don't say that you shouldn't have so many meetings, but then we have so many meetings. We don't. So it's like it's and we constantly keep tweaking to make sure that we don't have too many meetings. So in the end, like when you live through and through like this, then it's hard not to recommend your app, because like actually this is the room where it happens. Like this is the place where it happens.
Yeah,
So,
because actually our product, our app makes like it enforces on us this lifestyle what we have, what we are running, not only how we communicate in a team, but also how we live our lives. Yeah. That we don't need to move to the big city to have a great career opportunities, but just work from wherever we want. And yeah, it allows us to really live the life we want to live. And when we connect with friends, that's normally that it's somehow be a topic of of our conversations.
yes, completely. So it's like really, like I didn't like I didn't want to sell anything to her, but I was like, yeah, but this is how we work. Like this is what I can. And then so in the end of the conversation, I was like, so you can choose any other tool, like you can choose our competitors or whoever, but I'm telling you that, because I wanted to explain to her like the main thing, and the main thing is, when you stop using email for collaboration and use a dedicated tool, it's going to be easy. Like right there, right? And then, of course, if you use Nozbe, it's even better, because we think this is the best tool for that. But you can choose any other tool. But if you use a dedicated tool, And then she was like, yeah, and our dev guys, they're thinking of ditching Jira because nobody likes Jira. And I was like, well, we use Nozbe again to develop our app. Like Nozbe doesn't have a very fancy integration with GitHub, just like Jira does, but it's enough that we just put links to pull requests in the comments, and that's it. And we can track the changes and the pull requests and all that stuff. So it's not a big deal, really. I still think that we might in the future think about like tighter GitHub integration, but for now, like this is really enough for us to run the whole thing, and we really do have everything in GitHub. So so that's so in the end it was kind of a sales call.
All right, let's talk about what we actually announced last week, because we have new Nozbe, and so the artist formerly known as Nozbe Teams now is new Nozbe, and it's a product for everyone, for the personal use, for family use, and for your team. And yeah, we are finally there after 15 years.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was actually our original plan, like back in 2018, 2019. That was supposed to be a new Nozbe, but yeah, we figured out that we will not be able to at start to deliver all of the features that are necessary. Yeah.
So when you think about this is one of the learnings or takeaways when you run a company. Fake it until you make it. It's kind of real. Like this is something you just don't like. You can have all the plans in the world, all the ideas in the world, but in the end of the day, you never know what's going to work, and you never know how things are going to turn out. Like as you said, when we set out in 2016, I think, of designing a completely new Nozbe, we thought first of directly replacing the old Nozbe. In the beginning. So we had all the design plans, all these ideas and everything. And we had the whole new technology stack ready for that, because we were thinking of using a different technology to make sure that we can have Nozbe like this for the next decade or more to come, because the technology stack that we used in the first version of Nozbe and that we kept improving was kind of limiting us of what we could do. So we did that. But then when we realized, well, this app takes more time to develop. It's going to take a lot more time than we thought. And at the start, we want to focus on the new features, like completely different from the Nozbe Personal. so we thought, let's launch it as Nozbe Teams, so just for Teams, and then we can add the feature, kind of missing features that are really like also like important in productivity, but not as important for team collaboration, right? So that was the idea, and then we launched Nozbe Teams, and we had 2 products. But then people were confused; they didn't know which product for them to use. They thought Nozbe Personal was abandoned, which it wasn't. But we couldn't have as much time as we thought to build new features for Nozbe Personal, and then we started just to focus on Nozbe Teams. So it was a mess, and then we decided to finally admit that Nozbe Teams is the new Nozbe, really, and this was all our plan, back to original plan, basically, because in the midst of all this, we had all these changes of heart. We didn't know, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, and we decided that with 15 years of Nozbe, let's just use the birthday as an excuse to actually announce it, because Nozbe Teams, the artist formerly known as Nozbe Teams, as you said, is mature enough, is good enough. There are still some features missing from Nozbe Personal, which we might, and we will, some of them we will add, some of them we might. We said, let's do this. And of course, for that, we had to prepare a migrator, which I know how much you've worked on it, because it was so much work to make sure that we can
migrate. It is still,
them.
because we need to improve it.
Yes.
We learned from the great feedback from our customers, some small issues, but yeah, it's and what I wanted to how is to podkreślić?
Highlight.
When I wanted to highlight, it's like, because back in 2020, when we were launching Nozbe Teams, the app was in the state that it wouldn't be a good idea to offer it for Nozbe Personal users that didn't have any team to use it, because it was lacking many features for them. And if we encourage them to switch, they would hurt themselves, their productivity.
Yes.
Now it's after almost 2 years of developing Nozbe Teams, now it's new Nozbe, and of course it still doesn't have all of the features of Nozbe Personal. Yeah. But it's now it is in the state that we feel comfortable that it's okay for Nozbe Personal users to test if they can already use new Nozbe. And Nozbe Personal is here to stay, because many users are asking us of this. We will not be able to develop new features for Nozbe Personal, but we are here to maintain it and make sure it works for many years to come. So you can use it, and you can it can be still your trusted productivity system.
Exactly. So the thing is that we wanted to highlight, as you said, that Nozbe Personal will be maintained because this is a trusted productivity system. But if you want the new features, then we can have the new features when you migrate to the new Nozbe, and that then you will have the new features. But if you rely on some features, like for example, we don't have templates yet in the new Nozbe, we're going to have them soon, but not yet. So stick with Nozbe Personal for now and migrate, in a few months when we are ready to ship the new templates in the new Nozbe, right? And the same thing goes with the desktop apps. We are in the final stages of testing the Mac app and the Windows app. But if you really want them now, so just wait, a month and then or something, and then when you see them, get the set up a free new Nozbe account, and then you'll see. How much you like it or not, and how much you can enjoy it now. And the thing is that it's really hard to iterate on a product and to change it. The problem is with being 15 years on the market is that you're stuck with your thinking from 15 years ago, right? In very basic aspects, right, of the app.
Yeah. So back in 2007, you designed Nozbe to be the tool that helps you.
Exactly. And this is the thing. I've increased the team. The team is bigger. It's not just me. I've matured. I've learned a lot from the users and from our team. So at the end of the day, because of that, we want to try new things. We want to try like better things. We think better productivity ideas, but it's really hard to put them, like to shove them to users who are used to the application as it is right now. That's why it's I think it was a very like audacious goal and very very brave of us to launch a new app completely and rewrite app, which is really hard and lots of work and lots of money to rewrite it completely, to be able to try new things, for the next decade, for the next 10 years, for the 15 years, whatever, like to try new stuff. And wow, that's why it was a tough balance and a tough dance. But what I really appreciate is that what I've learned from last week announcing the 15 years of Nozbe and then Nozbe Teams becoming the new Nozbe version, basically, is the fact that when you announce that, when you have the clarity of like this is the clear path, like this is the way to go, then most of the users were very supportive. Like it was amazing. The same users who were complaining about us not deciding, having two products and all that stuff, the same people started saying, Michael, way to go. Now we know. And I'm like, yeah, clarity is great. Having clarity is fantastic. And this is like the story of my life. Whenever I was debating over things, and then suddenly I had the clarity of purpose, clarity of what I want to do. The clarity is just great, because when you have clarity, you just go for it. You just do everything we can. So the same goes now. Like we have clarity. Like this is the new Nozbe, so we know we have to improve the migrator to make sure that the migrator really works for everyone. Because now it works like in 90%, it just works perfectly, and the 10%, it can get flaky. So we know that. So now we are improving on it, and we know we have to make it great because this is a part of the process. And now suddenly we also know how to improve the migration of plans and all that stuff to make it really seamless. Now we know that we have to have the desktop apps really well done because people rely on them. So that's great. So like the moment when you have clarity, like everything aligns. Like you put your ducks in a row, kind of.
Yeah, and that's what I discussed it with you on previous episodes of this podcast. We are more and more transparent, and that really helps us because we receive a lot of positive feedback, even from customers who say like, "Okay, I really like new Nozbe, but I still need to stay in Nozbe Personal, but I'm excited about new Nozbe." So,
exactly.
Yeah, and we receive a lot of feedback like this, and it was such a relief.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you this is the thing, and I've been questioning many of my decisions over these last 15 years, like very often, and then people have been questioning my decisions very often, and it's good to question stuff, but at the end of the day, you have to decide, and you have to make a decision and just move forward with it and see how it goes, And the good thing about running a small software company is the fact that usually most of the decisions are not big decisions. So you can, if you see that the path that you took is not the right one, you can still go back and change the path. Like sometimes you can, sometimes it's just really hard then, but usually you can, and that's why it's good to try. It's good to really give it a shot and then see how it goes. So and it's so I can tell you honestly that it's almost never right or wrong. It's usually let's see where it gets us.
And during this preparation for launching new Nozbe, what I really liked that I recorded a video, a demo step by step how to use our migrator. And I really liked it, but I made some mistakes. For example, I started with English video, and I didn't notice I recorded it on dark mode theme in the browser, and that wasn't a good call. I only noticed after recording it, and
man,
and it was a deadline, so we decided, okay, let's go for it. But interesting thing is, the day after I started to recording Polish version of the same video. And I was doing this on Friday evening. I know I usually shouldn't do it on Friday, but
Yeah.
that
No, we
was
were
an
really,
unusual week. Yeah.
yeah. It was really a
Yeah,
busy week for us.
and I encountered this this issue in our migrator that subscription migration didn't work for some reason. Yeah, and it was already Friday evening, so I didn't want to call anyone to help me with that.
Yeah.
So I postponed finishing the video. Like I recorded like 80% of video, and I still I can finish it on Monday. But I was recording on Friday evening, and I had the small circle of view from my camera with my face,
Yeah.
next to the screencast, next to the Nozbe UI, and on Friday evening it was dark outside, so I needed to reproduce the dark dark environment. Fortunately, I have this window blades that I can make it really dark in my room.
Okay.
So I tricked it. I put the same T-shirt that I wore on Friday. And I finished recording video, and and I really liked it. I should record more videos like this, because I didn't expect that it's so easy.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting better at this. So
Yeah.
let's talk more about the videos after the break. Let's do a sponsor break for our Nozbe, for our new Nozbe. So this whole episode almost is about new Nozbe, but it's about also our journey as the No Office company. So stay with us, and let's hear like how Nozbe can solve your problems, because it's just great.
Once I started using Nozbe, that's when we started to really think beyond like a freelance mindset to more of a team mindset. And the beauty of it is that we can have a remote team. So we could hire people based on their credentials or based on, relationships that we had with people that we knew would be really good, and didn't have to hire based on location and somebody that's within, a mile radius, something close to where we were. It also, Nozbe is very intuitive and easy for a team to use. So as we add new people, whether it's a contractor or an employee to the team, we can get them set up with Nozbe, and within really an hour, they can see projects and tasks that are assigned to them, and start working. So most of our teams really taking Nozbe pretty easily.
All right.
All right. And I want to remind you that we are still celebrating our 15th birthday. So you have time to 15th February.
Yes. To get $15.
Yeah, to take advantage and get $15 from us in credits in our referral program that you can later use to extend your Nozbe Premium subscription. All you have to do is to sign up for new Nozbe.
Exactly. Or set up a new team.
Or if you already have an account in new Nozbe, you just set up a new team inside the app.
So let me just talk about that, because I think it's again something that we wanted to do always in the old Nozbe, but never got around to it because of many decisions we made, in the product. In the new Nozbe, you can have several teams. And we talked about it already in previous podcasts. But the cool thing now with this promo that you can get $15 if you set up a new team is that you have a perfect excuse to actually set up a new team. So when you are part of your team, let's say in the company, you can create a new team for yourself, for your personal tasks, or maybe, which I think is really cool use case, set up a team for your family. So the new Nozbe is free for up to 5 people. 5 projects and 5 people. So you can basically set up a new team for free, invite your wife, your children, and just get your house organized. And with 5 projects and 3 sections per project, and quite a few tags that you can use as well. Like with all that, you can really have a free app that manages your whole household. So Nozbe Teams, the new Nozbe, is not only great for work, but also for getting all these chores done, and also teaching your kids and your wife maybe or your husband productivity principles, like that we have to delegate tasks, you have to comment on the tasks, you have to iron out the details, like all that stuff. And then make sure to check it out. Like I am right now in the process of setting it up for my family. I mean, we have 3 kids, so the plan 5 people is perfect for us actually.
So you're using free account. Free
For
team.
now, yes, I'm using a free account. I'm also this way. I'm also testing the free account, how it works. How are the limits and all that stuff, so, like to make sure that we also communicate these limits and communicate the benefits of premium. But like make no mistake, Rafal, I'm going to upgrade to premium because we will have also projects just between me and my wife. We really want to use it also as our personal productivity thing. So it will be our personal space, and I also want to teach my eldest daughter for now, and then the remaining of my daughters, how to also set up projects just for them, how to manage stuff with us together, and all that stuff. So and of course we want to have projects like vacations as projects for the whole team, so that everybody can contribute. Because when you're a father, you can appreciate that you have to get your children involved in planning, because if you don't, then they just might not want to do what you think you wanted to do, or might not have enough enthusiasm for that, or might just take things for granted. So it's good to get them involved.
But do you really want to like having vacation with your family at the beach and just receive notification from Nozbe from your daughter with a task that, Daddy, can you bring me a towel?
I hope it will not get to that, but we do want to plan things, because we have this idea in summer to go to rent a camper van again, like camper van, like this, house on wheels, and yes, and drive around the north of Europe. We want to go to Norway, Denmark, and Sweden, and our idea is to use and for that you need to really plan it, because there will be ferries involved, there will be Legoland, of course, because come on, I'm a big fan of Lego, and an excuse to go to Legoland, of course, for my kids, not for me, is fantastic. And so for that, we need to plan it. So I do expect my daughter to prepare some plans, which fjords to see in Norway. And anyway, by the way, if you have any tips for me to visit, of visiting Denmark, Norway, or Sweden, or if you're from this country and want to give me some tips, like, email me at michael@nozbe.com. I'll be really happy. So we are doing that. And I think, we can do it all in Nozbe again, just as a family. And I think it's going to be great.
Okay, one last thing about Nozbe, I promise, because let's highlight this because we have some questions about it, is that this free account or premium accounts is like per team. So
yes,
if you have 2 teams, you can have one team is premium and one team can be free. So the account type, the subscription type is per team, not per account, because if you have like many companies, you like to have different invoices data for them.
Of course, and also, this gives you flexibility that you can really try things like this. Have several companies. You don't have to be owner of all these companies, to be part of the teams. And also, again, I want to highlight the second team option. It's also a great benefit for your employees. So if you set up Nozbe, the new Nozbe for your team, then and then, for example, premium, let's say, for 10 people, and you have 10 people in your team, these 10 people, all of them have access to your team, of course, but then all of them can set up their own free account. Their own free team. So you're basically giving them a value add that they can get their personal stuff organized and their business stuff organized all in one app, which is just very convenient and very productive, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's change topics now and talk about life. And actually, you are going to visit Denmark, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, and the Danish government has proclaimed that 2022 to be the year of the bicycle.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. And because Tour de France will start in Denmark this year.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and that's interesting also because like I also proclaimed for me like 2022 to be the year of bicycle. Actually, I named it El Año de Andar NBC.
Uh-huh.
And I will get to it why it's in Spanish. But as you may remember from our previous episode when we talked about yearly reviews, etc., I recently, for like 2-3 years now, I switched from setting goals for the year to setting like theme or direction.
Yes.
Yeah, so I called my theme for 2022 El Año de Andar en Bici, which is
Okay.
riding a bike. And why is that? Because in the 2021, riding a bike was the one single, the biggest thing that actually made me feel alive. And the thing that made me feel alive, that forget for some time about all the bad things happening in the world, especially in our country right now, and it really sparks joy inside my heart. So so yeah, I want to focus on not only on riding a bike, but it's a reminder for me to focus on those things that can help me forget about the whole bad stuff, and that sparks joy inside of me. And second thing I noticed that magically sparks joy inside me is Spanish language.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoyed learning Spanish, talking Spanish, listening to people talking Spanish. And I in the recent years I somehow lost it.
Okay.
Because in recent years I was focusing on improving my English for this podcast, for other videos, and so on. But I don't know why, but it's magical language. That the melody of this language, it just sparks joy in my heart. And for now on, I'm trying to listen more Spanish music and less podcasts.
Okay.
Because podcasts are always like additional information, and you need to take a break sometimes from information. And I don't have kids, so for you it's natural that after work you play with kids, and that's this kind of activity for you. I need to find something else. I already changed the language of Nozbe to Spanish.
Okay.
So now I'm dogfooding Nozbe in Spanish too, so I can give some feedback to Domi about Spanish translation. And it's really like I really can't wait for spring to come, because I already riding my bike when weather is nice. But when spring comes, I'm selling my car.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Yes. So 2022 will be no office and no car lifestyle, because what I learned last year, that I actually driving a car doesn't, at least in our country, doesn't spark joy anymore for me. I figured it out in the autumn. That recent trip, I used to like driving a car, like for a trip on the highway, listening to the podcast. But now I notice that it just even this small noise of the car, it bothers me. The driving style of other people, it just makes me anxious, nervous, and when I compare it to the trip I had for our last Nozbe reunion, which was combined bike plus train, like man, that was awesome experience. I want to travel like this, like because I learned like bike is not only great for recreation, for fun. It's only good for not only transportation inside the city, which is obvious, but also for traveling like this. So I want to take more bike trips this year. And I will be selling my car because we sum up our expenses for the car, and see how for what we actually use it. And it resulted that we actually don't need it to having a car. Of course, with the costs for per year, we can still with the same cost we can still use like taxi or Uber a couple of times per week, and like 2-3 times per year we can rent a car, like even better car for the same cost, for the same summary cost per year. So, and when I don't have car easy available, I will always choose bike as my default transportation. So the barrier of entry is is better.
So when you, for example, want to visit your parents who live very far away from you right now in the north, you will just rent a car for that, or will you travel like public transport, like by train or something?
Yeah, that's there is an option like train plus 60 kilometers bike ride.
Wow, that's ambitious.
Yeah, but so I want to once do that, and for other trips, yeah, we will rent a car.
I still have this feeling of FOMO, so fear of missing out, because I budged and I didn't join you for the bike trip for our reunion, because I was envious that you did it, and I wanted to do it.
That's on you, man.
That's on me completely. Yeah. I'm just saying that I am. But speaking of year of the bike, for my family, it started out like this, because my kids were not really fond of bikes. Like I bought, like when in the beginning of the pandemic, I bought bikes for my wife and for my eldest daughter. My middle daughter, she had a okay bike. But we rode a few times, but then kind of these bikes were just in the basement collecting dust, and I was like, man, like I'm a triathlete, I love riding on a bike, like why don't they want to do that? But as you know, as a parent, it's hard to enforce your point of view on people. You should just maybe let them grow and let them just embrace it themselves. And what happened was exactly that. Like my eldest daughter, she said, I want to go to the school by bike. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's 5 kilometers. It's not just a very short, and then it's a hilly ride. So like we have to try it first. So we did. And then the middle daughter said, yeah, I want to do the same. And I was like, And then in the end at the end, we actually bought the middle daughter a new bike. So because she outgrew the bike, like my middle daughter, she's gonna turn 10 now, and she grew like 5 centimeters in the last half a year. So like it's amazing like how fast she grows. So we got her a new bike where she had like more gears, and especially for the hilly ride, it's fantastic to have more gears. And now she just can't wait to go by bike to school. So and then the little one, the 6-year-old, 5.5-year-old, she learned to ride bike from scratch in 7 days flat. Like really from on the first day already she could ride on her own without me supporting her. And then next day she learned how to start, and then she learned how to do slaloms, and like so quickly. So now all my girls are riding bicycles and they love it. And so I think they are still a little bit cold. I mean, it's still a little bit cold in the mornings, and they are not, they're a little bit, cold themselves, like with some running nose and stuff. So we decided that starting not in February, but in March, we should start, riding to school by bike almost every day. And it's gonna be like a completely new dynamic for our family, because we are used to going by with our 7-seater car, all of the girls to school, and it's a 5-kilometer ride. So for a bike it's quite a lot, but for car it's almost nothing. So it's kind of why it's kind of wasteful to take the car for a 5-kilometer ride. And I love it, and I'm happy. And again, it wasn't me forcing them, it was them being curious about it and trying it out. So I'm not selling my car. I still need a family car. I'm sorry, but this is the way it goes here.
Like, I understand that people with children, like
Yeah, I mean, it's like this, and especially we live on the suburbs, like in the outskirts of the city, so we want to live here, so it's fine. But what I'm saying is that we will use it less, especially for shorter trips, because we will use the bikes, and also for like, I think from starting from March or maybe April, also for like the extracurricular classes, like for example in the evenings when my eldest daughter goes to the gym and stuff, then she can just go by bike. I don't have to take her by car anymore. Like she can just go by bike, tie the bike in, and then come back by bike. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
And
and
also this feeling of independence, what I saw in the eyes of my kids, was amazing. Like the feeling of like, I can do this. This is my bike, and I can ride it, and I can just go by myself. Like, it's fantastic.
yeah, and you're never stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
That's nice. And I don't know how is your city, but actually in Poland for the recent 20 years, the bike infrastructure got really, really good. Like it's not still lacks many lanes, etc. But yeah, many trips you can do like with 70-80% by the separate bike lane, separate bike track that you can even many times go through the park or next to the river, but there is no cars at all. So so yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, so we discovered that like from where we live, for example, there is no bike infrastructure like in our close neighborhood. But when we get out of it, then there is, and there's actually pretty vast. So just one of the things that we do now on Sundays, for example, for the Holy Service to the church, we go by bikes, and then from there we go by bikes, ride around, and then go to a restaurant for our
nice.
lunch. So it's our family outing, in on Sundays. So it's really, really nice. Yeah. Speaking of that, I can see now how the infrastructure in our neighborhood could improve, and I am actually going to try to lobby our local neighborhood to actually change it, because I like driving cars. For me, driving cars still sparks joy and all that stuff. But I can see how too many parking places are just wasteful, and how removing one parking lane, which like fits like 10 cars, could just make it a very nice and wide bike lane. And of course these 10 cars will find a place to park somewhere else, no problem, and we will have a nice, safe bike lane. So I want to start lobbying that here in our neighborhood, and start proposing that we should do it. The neighborhood should think about it and should really find money in the budget to really start changing to a more bike friendly place, and and not just have parking lots.
Yeah, it's in the interest of drivers even to have more bikers, because more bikers mean less car drivers, and that's good for everyone.
And the thing is that drivers are not really patient, with bike riders. So, for example, there is a piece where I'm going with my 10-year-old by bike, and I'm just going in the middle of the road because there is no other way to go. All right,
Yeah.
On pavement is too narrow, and then there are parking places, and then there is the one-way street, right? And the funny part is that it's like a 300-meter one-way street. Okay. And at the end of the street, there is a red light always. So they are going behind us. We go like 20 something kilometers an hour because it's downhill. They go behind us and they try to overtake us. And I'm like, man, calm down. Like, you're going to be on the red light in 300 meters. So there is like no rush. Like, you will not gain anything, but still they're like, it's so annoying. And once somebody overtook me, even though they had no space really to do it. And later they stopped at the red light. So I caught them on the red light, and I knocked on their window, and I'm like, man, really? Did you have to do it? Like, couldn't you just wait? And he apologized, which was nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, because it was like, come on, man. Like, it's like you're not gonna speed up here. Like this is not gonna happen. So yeah, so I'm really approving this ecological way of doing things and riding a bike, and I'm really happy as a father and proud that my daughters are right now good bikers. And you can see like the more we go, the better they become. They're just faster, they are stronger. Like it's fantastic.
Yeah,
So
it's like it's like as I said, it's a win-win-win-win situation because
Yeah.
like it's less stressful, it's better for your health, like it costs less.
yes, it's fantastic, and then really, and having a good bike, like really, I was so happy that we bought for the middle one, for Emilia, we bought her a very good bike, and she enjoys it so much, and now she learned how to switch gears in front and in the back, like and she can mix and match, and it's like, and then she's so happy, and she's so I don't know, like the self-worth is just like doubles. Like it's just like she's like so proud of herself that she can do all that and she can climb that hill and it's fine.
All right. So, any other thoughts for your on your plans on 2022?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be because as you know, we've talked about our home offices and all that stuff. I keep improving my home office. As if you're watching this podcast, you can see that I am a little bit bigger. Like I mean, no, the you can see that there is a new lens here. Like you can see more of my office when you look at me now, which is a very nice. I bought a very nice lens for my Sigma lens for my Sony camera. That's why you can see me in such a nice. So before that I used to have this lens, this small one, which was manual focus. I also had that one, but it was just too it was too close to my face. And now I have like a wide angle, a nice lens. So I'm gonna be recording more videos about our no office lifestyle. There will be a new video dropping very soon on the home office again, and there will be additional videos coming up very soon because now I have this, as you mentioned, it's getting more effortless to record a video, and we have a very cool video guy who's editing the videos very quickly. So this way we can really produce some cool videos and then have them shipped pretty quickly. And like all these ideas that I had for videos, now we can really act on them. So I want to do that. And of course, I mentioned that we're going to have this trip to Legoland, and to give you an idea, like this is my new Porsche from Lego, which I just built. It's fantastic, and this particular model, it's a 911 turbo and 911 Targa. So in the end you can decide which one you want. And because I didn't want to decide, I built a turbo Targa. So I basically mixed and matched so that I can have both. I can have it's not so first I built the turbo, and then I decided let's try to build the turbo Targa. So I did that, and I found all the pieces necessary, and it's really cool. It's a very cool car. So I love building Lego bricks. So and that's why I'm so happy that.
So I'm selling a car and you buy more cars, but in Lego.
Yes, exactly. I'm buying lots of cars, but only. So I have dream, like when you have this hashtag on Instagram, dream garage. So I have a dream garage of lots of Porsches, but they're Lego size. So well,
you should put your Porsches on the porch.
Yeah, exactly. So so that's basically it. But the most important thing for us really is, and the most important thing for me is, now that we have clarity about Nozbe, I have clarity that I have to really finish up and start promoting my book, No Office. So we will be discussing more chapters from my book in the future episodes of this show, to discuss them in depth. I will be editing the show. I will be editing the book. Because right now if you go to nooffice.org, you can see the rough draft of the book, and you can read it online. It's for free. I mentioned I'm going to open source the book. So now the idea is to build a launch team. and get a launch team. So if you want to learn more, just stay tuned for the updates on this. And then when we have the launch team, I will be editing each chapter of the book, like to do the final edit, and also send it for proofreading, but also editing with the community, so with people who will be in the launch team, to make sure that all the chapters are clear, concise, and exactly the way we want. And then in May, probably, like this is the tentative date. I shouldn't promise dates, like
yeah, you shouldn't.
yeah.
But I'm not involved in book
Exactly.
book
So
production, so I just let you. Yeah, that's on you.
That's on me, man.
That's on
So-
you, and no impact on my work. So whatever.
Exactly. So my idea is in May to launch the official No Office book, like have a launch party, launch it, and offer it for sale on Amazon and on Audible, with all proceeds going to charity, and also offer it completely free online to read on the web, or get a PDF or ebook version. So you will be able to get it in many forms, and hopefully this No Office book will spread like wildfire, and people will learn about No Office lifestyle better, and it will help everyone to change to this hybrid, remote first workspace that I think everyone deserves.
Okay, let's with this good with these good vibes, let's wrap up this episode.
Exactly.
So, Michael, what day is tomorrow?
So it's Mighty Friday, and it's time to
Weekly review, plan priorities for next week, and learning something new to have a great weekend. So, if you enjoyed this show, please help support this podcast. You can share it with a friend. You can leave us a nice review in Apple Podcast, or you can just check out our Nozbe app. So that's it for today. Say goodbye, Michael.
So you can check out our Nozbe app and get $15. So we give $15 for free. Anyway, and really think like for the it's the beginning of the year. So for the next months to come, think about your priorities well, and really try to use Mighty Fridays. Try to use Fridays as a weekly review part, and to learn something completely new, because a skill that you will acquire may help you with everything.
This episode has not been created in the office, because in Nozbe, there is no office. Your hosts were Michael Sliwinski and Rafał Sobolewski. All the links and show notes you will find on nooffice.fm/35. The whole production process of this episode has been coordinated in a project in Nozbe app. Work is not a place to go, it is a thing that you do. Thank you, and see you in 2 weeks. Remember to have a mighty Friday.
Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.